The Quinnipiac volleyball team won both of their games this weekend. The Bobcats men's soccer team is still having trouble scoring goals, and the women's rugby team has proved that they're the team to beat in the MAC. Penn State. Oh, man. All that and much more coming up tonight on Bobcat Breakdown. Coming at you live from Studio 125, this is Bobcat Breakdown. Good evening, everyone. I'm Randy Del Valle with Josh Silverman and Drew Feinberg. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm amazing. How about you?
I'm doing great, Josh.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to be
I'm happy with you, Dan. I'm happy to be with you.
Okay, let's go right into it. The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team took on St. Peter Saturday at home, where they won in straight sets. But the team also faced off with Ryder on Sunday, winning 3-1, improving their record to 3-1 in the MAC. Drew, you were there this weekend. How did they fare up?
Oh, I mean, it was just an absolute offensive surge for Quinnipiac this weekend, winning in straight sets in one game and nearly in the second game against Ryder. They just look super impressive. I talked to Chris Saplinski. He said that basically they have been home not that long. They traveled a lot before MAC play started, and he's very happy to be home because then they have full practice schedule. And I just think that the team looks great right now. They're hit the highest hitting percentage in the MAC, second in the MAC in assists, second in kills. And Zaplinski, I also noticed, but Zaplinski said that one of the two seniors, Elizabeth Clues, has looked incredible thus far. Huge leader for the team. She had 20 kills on Sunday against Ryder, which is a career high for her. And, I mean, things are just clicking for them right now. They did have one loss, but they are looking very impressive right now.
Okay.
I mean, Drew's the main guy in this, so I just want to bring people's attention looking forward. The team is in a great place. They play home against Siena. That's going to be another win. Then they play at Niagara. That's going to be the biggest test. Niagara is undefeated right now in the MAC. That's going to be the biggest test for the team moving forward. Then they're at Canisius and home against Marist. They can go into the end of next weekend at 6-2. That's coming off a great season last season. They can be 6-2 in the beginning of October this season. They're going to be in a great place. This program is going to be in a great place, and the coaches have done a great job getting there.
However, on Sunday, Jen Coffey went down with what looked like to be an ankle injury, and we talked to Chris Saplinski after the game. He said that she should be okay, but if she does not play on Wednesday, the team could be negatively affected because she is a huge part of that offense.
The team will definitely be affected. I'm interested to see if she does sit out, how they will handle that adversity, how they're able to overcome it. It's going to be a great test for this team. It's good as long as she's not out for an extended period of time. Her being out in the middle of the season is giving them an opportunity to see what the team is made of, look inside, see what they can do. I'm excited to see.
I also am.
All right, speaking of volleyball, we now have Quinnipiac women's volleyball player Maria Panzari live with Q30's own Katie O'Keefe. Maria, Katie are standing by right now.
Thanks, guys. How are you, Maria?
Good. How are you?
Great. So last year in MAC play, the team did really well, and this year you're 3-1 in the conference. What's been working for you guys?
I think we just got to focus on our confidence because our preseason schedule was very tough, and that definitely had an effect on us. So I think this weekend was a huge win both days for us, so that really helped.
Definitely. You guys were home this weekend for the first time, and on Saturday you played St. Peter's, and that was a clean sweep. How did that prepare you for Sunday's game against Ryder?
Well, I think we worked on a bunch of different things in practice, so we were able to actually implement those into the game. That definitely helped carry over into the next game.
And Ryder was definitely a good match. They put up a good fight. You won the first two, lost the third. What was the mindset you told your teammates to come back for that fourth game?
We just had to remember we were in the commanding position. We won 2 sets. We just had to win one more. So it's better to just go all out and play versus being timid and scared, which we found ourselves doing in the third set.
That's right, and they had some solid blocks, Ryder. They had tall players on the other side of the net. Was there anything as the setter you told your hitters to do differently to help with that?
Just swing, because, I mean, they were covering tips very well, so that really wasn't working. So our hitters are great at swinging through the block or around the block, so as long as we kept doing that, we were fine.
Definitely, that's awesome. And now, tomorrow night, you have Siena home. What are you guys expecting to see from them?
Well, right now they're 0-4, so we aren't going to take them lightly because last year they were very competitive with us. So we're going to keep doing what we've been doing and hope for the best.
Competition only makes it better. Thank you, Maria. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Katie. Moving on from volleyball to field hockey. The field hockey team won a big game Friday against Liberty 1-0, but they also lost Sunday to California 3-2. We pulled Bobcat Nation to compare their thoughts on the team with our analyst. Josh, we'll start with you. Do you see the team making a Big East tournament?
100%. I see this team making the Big East tournament. I'll tell you why. Last year, the number 4 seed, the top 4 teams make it. The number 4 seed last year it was Liberty. They had 3 conference wins. Quinnipiac's already had 2 conference wins, so they are not going to have a problem getting the 3rd. They play home versus Villanova this Friday. Villanova's 0-2. They play Temple comes to town later in the season. They're also 0-2. They will easily be able to win one of those games, if not both. I don't even think 4 is their ceiling. I think they could even get the 3 or 2 seed. I mean, they're one of only 3 teams that's undefeated in the Big East right now. I don't see how you can say that they're not going to make the tournament.
I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I mean, I just don't think they score enough goals. They're second to last in goals in the Big East with 16, 6th in the conference with 26 goals allowed, 7th in the conference with only 9 shots per game. The number 1 team in the conference in that stat is UConn with 20.4 shots per game. They just aren't putting the ball even near the net enough, I think, to make the Big East tournament. But
I mean, Drew, you're making a good point, but you're forgetting half the battle. Defense wins championships.
It does.
Olivia Golini with her first shutout in a Big East Conference game, the first home game this year. That is true. That's just being an elite player. That is stepping up when you need to step up, and that is the difference between this team. They might not get the shots on goal, although they will come, but this team wins. They find ways to win, and that comes from the coaching staff. It comes from the players buying into the system. They also play at Old Dominion. They're 1-1. They are plenty of winnable games. So are you saying that they're not going to win any more conference games?
No,
or are
I'm
you
not
saying that 3
that.
wins won't be enough?
I just don't think it will be enough in the long run.
Okay.
Okay, so who do you guys see as a go-to scorer on this team?
Drew, I mean,
You want to go?
no, you go.
I mean, it's a toss-up between Lauren Belsky and Dana Barlow, but I got to go with Dana Barlow. The senior midfielder is looking pretty good for the Bobcats thus far. I mean, they aren't producing a lot of goals. She's tied for first on the team in goals and assists, 3-2, also with Lauren Belsky. I think as a senior, the team relies on her in an offensive standpoint, and Lauren Belsky is a defender. I mean, not knocking the defensive position at all. I just think.
Well, you were before because you
Yeah.
said the offense is the problem. So the defense is what it is, right?
Okay, you got me there. But I still think the go-to scorer, when they do score, is Dana Barlow.
I'll tell you what. Becca Main said that Lauren Belsky is not only the most important player in conference play, she is the hardest sweep of anyone she's ever coached. That's where they have her on the penalty kills. Dana Barlow sets it up for her, and Lauren Belsky finishes it. That's why Lauren Belsky is the most important player. Her sweeps, 8 points as a defender is out of this world.
Great.
She is such an elite player. She's playing a full game. Not that Dana Barlow isn't, but she's playing the game the way it has to be played. As a defender, as a senior, as a leader, she's the most important player. She's the go-to scorer, and she's the one that's going to lead this team to the Big East tournament.
I mean, it's really a toss-up between the two. I mean, I'm sure you agree with this too. They basically have the exact same stats.
Well, there's nothing to argue against. Except for shots on goal, which the advantage goes to Belsky. They have the exact same stats. That is correct.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the product on the field. It's not all about the stats. You have to look at the fact that Lauren Belsky is there. Lauren Belsky, when they set up the plays, the penalty kills, or penalty corners around Lauren Belsky, that's why she's the most important.
You make a compelling argument, but I don't know. I still got to go with Dana Barlow. It's just my gut.
All right.
Well, Levy Golini has the most saves in the Big East of 56 among goalkeepers, and she also has the lowest goals allowed average in the Big East. So, do you think she's the best goalkeeper in the Big East, guys? Josh?
You start this time.
So it's hard for me. I asked Becca Main about this. She said she doesn't even pay attention to stats, so I can't even bring what she said into this.
She's gotta.
So,
She's gotta pay attention.
So here's a problem. It's too early to tell. If you were to poll the audience right now watching, who's the best player who's the best analyst on the desk? Someone might say me. They will probably say me. But here's the problem: it's too early to tell. We're about 7 minutes into the show. They're about 7 minutes into the season. They played 2 conference games. How can you compare Levy Golini to the other goalies when she hasn't even played all the teams yet? I don't understand how you can compare her to the other players. It's not. And if you're going to ask me to make a definitive statement right now, no, she's not. It's the UConn goalie, Nina Klein. She, on the season, she has 4 shutouts on 9 starts. Livia Golini has 1. She has an 80 save percentage. That's 6 goals on 24 shots. Yep. Livia Golini's had a great season, but she has a 68% save percentage and only 1 shutout. So it's like only 1 shutout. I mean, when you're comparing it to UConn, who only has 6 goals against on their season, it's just, she's not. It's too early to tell, but if I had to make a decision, I'd say no.
It sounds like you're saying she's not, and I have to agree with you on that one. I don't think she is the best player in the Big East. I do agree that it is early, but I mean, one, the offense is not really producing as it should, but they're 6th in the conference, Golini is 6th in the conference with 2.6 goals against per game. UConn's goalie, 0.65 goals against. 4th in saves, 6.1 a game. 4th in saves per game. She's a .701 percentage in saves. It is very early. It's super early. But I still got to say that I don't think she is the best player or best goalkeeper in the Big East.
So what do you think she has to do in order to become the best in the conference?
See, it's just time. You said it before.
She's just a sophomore.
Yeah, she's just a sophomore. She has so much time to develop. And you said before, I do agree with you. It's just way too early in the season in the conference play to tell. But I think going forward, just the more experience she has, the better she'll be.
All right, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, we're now going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to have women's soccer goalkeeper Olivia Myszewski join the show, and we'll also discuss rugby's win over Penn State. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad,
in your room,
or heading to class,
tune in to Q30 News
for stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Bobcat Breakdown, presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcat Sports Network. We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Quinnipiac's women's soccer team had quite the week. They won 2-1 in overtime against Siena after Nadia Gills scored a game-winning goal. The team also tied with Marist 1-1. We now have live an interview with Q30's own Tom Krasnowski and women's soccer goalkeeper Olivia Myszewski. Tom and Olivia are standing by. Guys?
Thanks, guys. I'm joined right here on set by women's soccer sophomore goalie Olivia Myszewski. Olivia, it's nice to have you on set here.
Nice to be here.
All right, awesome. Let's dive right in. Right now, your team is first in the MAC. With only conference games remaining, how confident are you guys can continue to stay in first place as you go into the conference tournament in Florida?
I think we're pretty confident. I think we just have to keep having that winning mentality. And I think after the Marist game, we were all disappointed within the tie. So I think coming into the Wednesday's game, we're very strong-minded and wanting to get back on and score a lot of goals.
Yeah, coming off the Marist game, this is now your 5th overtime game. You guys are a grinding squad. Yeah. Do you look at it as a good thing that you guys can play a complete game, or maybe something you can work on and become better finishers?
I think as a goalkeeper, I don't like overtime. It makes me very nervous, but our team seems to thrive in overtime. but our team seems to grind pretty hard when we're in OT, but especially with Nadia Gill up top.
Right, and you've been a big part of your team's success this year. Let's not discount that. How have you improved from freshman year to sophomore year?
I think coming from freshman year, I've improved a lot with the help of our new goalie coach, Matt. He's helped a lot build my confidence and like working on little things that I need to work on in goal specifically. So.
You guys have a lot of success at the new Quinnipiac Turf Complex. How great is it to be at a new, awesomely constructed new stadium for you?
It's pretty great. I love the new turf field. As a goalkeeper, I mean, coming from that grass field, it's great. I love the new stadium.
All right, and also you guys are going to be in action tomorrow at Fairfield under the lights. What are some keys to success for that game?
I think the key is to come out harder than we usually do. Especially at away games, we have the tendency to be a little bit nervous and be lackadaisical. And I think coming from the Marist game, we scored within the second half, but we didn't come out stronger after the goal. We kind of laid back. So I think going into the Fairfield game, we're going to come out harder, stronger, and stay on top and step on their necks when we score. So.
All right, nothing but big games lie ahead for the Quinnipiac women's soccer team. Thank you for your time, Olivia. Now let's send it back to the desk for more.
Thanks, Tom and Olivia. Josh, you heard her say that they thrive in overtime. What do you think about that?
So when you have the ability to have a player that your coach can say, go win me this game, I don't think there's anything more valuable than that in all of sports. That player is Nadia Gill. She is leading, she's up there in the MAC in terms of goals. Oh, yeah. And she has the ability that her coach is like, go win me this game. And she does it. She is such a playmaker, and she has that ability, that clutch factor that is just, you're just born with it. And she has just grown with this program. She's elevated them to another level, and I think she's been a phenomenal player for them.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on this
I don't even think you can disagree
I can't even do it. Nadia Gill's been unbelievable thus far. 25 points in only 10 games. That's crazy. But I did love how Olivia did say step on their throats. That's got to love that kind of mentality.
The fire and intensity with the team.
Yeah.
Well, guys, is the winner of Quinnipiac and Monmouth's game on Saturday the favorite to win in the MAC? Drew?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Monmouth has won the conference outright 4 years in a row. If Quinnipiac wins, that's a huge confidence boost for them. And we were just talking about it, Nadia Gill, if she steps up in this game, I think she's gonna have a great game. But what do you think?
So I think it goes back to this. I mean, you keep just declaring these statements, and we're so far away. I mean, it's September 26th, and there's so much time left that regardless of what happens in this game, the loser can go back. They can review the tape. They can work on. I mean, they will continue to play MAC games. So it's not like they lose this game and then they go right into the tournament. There will be plenty more games to work on your faults. There are injuries. There's other things you have to account. So they might not. I mean, I guess if you want to pick a favorite, if you want to do that, Drew, you can do it. But what I'm saying is there's so much more time in the season. It's so early that the team can still gel together. The losing team will take what they lost, and even the winning team. They were both. I mean, there's negatives and positives from every game. So you will take that. You'll learn from it. You'll watch the tape. You'll get better. And that's why I don't think it's a favorite, because I think it's just one game. It's not tournament time.
Moving on from soccer to rugby, who had no problem finding ways to score against Penn State in the second half. The Bobcats are coming off a 36-27 comeback over the Nittany Lions after trailing 20-10 in the half. Drew, what's up with you? What has been the key to the turnaround for this team?
Oh, I mean, it's Alona Marr and Emily Roscoff. I mean, they've been absolutely dominant. Alona Marr, previous player of the year. Emily Roscoff, two-time All-American. They've bolstered this offense. Basically, it's just been outstanding for Alona Marr and Emily Roscoff, and against Penn State freshman Layla Scott looked great. She had her first points in collegiate rugby. She had 3 tries against them. I just think that Becky Carlson's doing a great job with the squad once again.
Your closing line took my argument. I'm not going to disagree with your first part, but in college, I like to say there's no bigger asset to a team than the coach and the coach's system. That is why this team has been so successful. I mean, they are in the running for their 3rd straight national championship. That is the dominance of the players, but also the coach. Becky Carlson does not get the respect of the students here at Quinnipiac. I don't think they recognize what she's been able to do with her team, and her ability to plug in players, her ability to overcome any sort of adversity that comes at this team is what makes this team an elite team. Her system just does that.
The Bill Belichick factor.
No, but it really is. I mean, obviously that's a whole different story, a whole different argument.
I can have that argument
But
all
in
day.
college, when players are constantly coming in and out of your system, the system is what stays. It's the one constant, and the coach, and that's why they've been so successful.
You're right.
Josh, what's the impact of the freshman class?
I mean, the impact, they're just getting started. I mean, how much better can this team get? I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. How much better can they get? I mean, Becky Carlson's done wonders with freshmen who, I mean, for example, Mika Maples never played rugby before she came to Quinnipiac. Last year had not an amazing year, but it was very impressive. And I just think that it's super early, but Layla Scott did look great against Penn State. And Becky Carlson doing what she does. The freshmen will make a big impact once the season goes along.
And they're only going to get better.
They will.
Now we're going to take another break. Stay right there.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad,
In your room.
Or heading to class.
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcat Sports Network. We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Men's soccer team lost 1-0 against number 14 New Hampshire, with the team still struggling finding back to net. Josh and Drew, where's the team's confidence level? We'll start with Josh.
The confidence level is high, and I'll tell you why. The games they've lost have mostly been 1-0 games. So while the offense is not where it should be, they've also played phenomenal teams. Number 14, the ranked 14th overall, New Hampshire, they lost 1-0 to, and they had chances to send that game into overtime. That has got to be encouraging. So all these losses, all these 1-0 losses, they're out of conference. So their defense is there. That's just a fact. The defense is there. The goalkeeping is there. They just need to work on their offense, and they'll be able to do that against their MAC opponents. I don't see this team having a problem really getting in stride once they play a MAC game or two. I don't know if it's going to happen right away. It might take a couple games to really find their stride. Eric DeCosta's going to work wonders with this team. They'll be able to move the ball and be able to finish. I think that's been a real problem. But it will get there eventually. They won't have a confidence problem because the losses aren't bad losses. It's not like they're losing 6-0 every game. It's 1-0 losses against great out-of-conference teams. So it doesn't matter towards the end of the year standings. It only matters that you play the tough teams and that you're playing them well. You're bringing your A-level game. And that's what they've been doing. So they don't have a problem moving forward.
I just don't understand how you can say that they don't have a confidence problem.
Were you listening?
No, I was listening.
Okay, all right. So
I was listening to what you were saying.
All right.
If they aren't scoring goals, what do you think's happening? Their confidence is not going down. If they're not scoring goals, what do you think they're thinking? Oh man, we'll get them next time. They got to work on that. Obviously, their offense isn't clicking right now. I mean, Eamon Whalen's been gone. He played a little bit a few games ago, but I mean, like, it's just not clicking for them. They have 2 goals in 7 games.
But every team has to work on something. I mean,
course.
I've talked wonders about the volleyball and the field hockey team, and they're still working on stuff. So that never ends. Here's why they don't have a conference problem, though, is because it's not like they're playing MAC teams. They're not playing teams that they play every year. They're not playing teams that they're familiar with. They're playing teams. So they're playing tougher opponents than they're used to. So if they're losing 1-0, maybe if that's a MAC game, it's 1-1 or even 2-1 in their favor because the defense is there, the goalkeeping is there, the offense will come. They're not going to not score a goal all season. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
this is a strong team. This team will be at the top of the MAC standings at the end of the year. They don't have a problem. They don't have a confidence problem because they know the goals will come.
I mean, maybe it's not a whole team confidence problem. It could just be one or two people. I mean, Rashawn Daly, no goals this season. He was a key factor for their offense last year. I mean, it could just be a him problem or Eamon Whalen not playing problem because he was MAC Rookie of the Year last year, first team All MAC. But
it's the same thing with wins. Wins and goals. Once you get the first, the dam opens. It's easy to build off that. Once they get the first goal, the team's going to be like, all right, we got this. They're going to get the first goal. It's going to lead to the first win. It's going to lead to another win. It's going to carry into the MAC tournament. That's why it might not even happen the first 3 games of MAC play. It's going to happen. They're going to build off that. This is a well-coached team with great players, and the offense will come. It's not an issue of will it come? It's maybe when. Maybe a game or two in. That's the issue. But it's not a confidence problem.
I mean, I still think it's a confidence problem, but that's beside the point. You were saying that, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought.
Check. That's a win for Josh.
No.
I agree with Josh.
There's no way. There's no way.
It's finally time to reveal our game of the week. The game of the week is the Quinnipiac men's soccer team hosting Fairfield. Quinnipiac comes into the game 1-5-1, while Fairfield is 4-3-1. On a 2-game win streak. Drew, who are you taking in this game?
I was just talking about Quinnipiac having a confidence problem, but I do see Quinnipiac winning this game. I mean, women's soccer beat reporter Dylan Fearon said that Eamon Whalen should be playing this game. He also predicted that Junior Cordero, the senior winger, will have a huge game. Said he was a pest, a gnat, and bothersome for UNH, a ranked team, last game. And Cordero stepped in and created greatly for the offense. I think he'll do the same against Fairfield.
Irony is funny sometimes, Drew, because I actually had them losing this game. I said in my winning argument against you just a couple seconds ago that it's going to take a game or two. I don't know that they're going to be able to flip this switch overnight. I see them losing this game. Fairfield, I talked about out-of-conference play being the biggest test before they get into the MAC tournament. Obviously, the MAC schedule in between. But Fairfield really dominated their out-of-conference play. I mean, Randy said they were 4-3. They really did a great job out of conference. So I see that being the deciding factor. Fairfield's coming in with a little more confidence. Quinnipiac will build it back, but Fairfield's going to get this win. But the MAC has not been decided just yet.
Well, guys, it's time for our final roars of the night. Let's start with Drew.
All right, let's do it. Just recently starting off its campaign in the MAC, the Quinnipiac women's volleyball team has started where they have left off last season, on a positive note. Chris Saplinski's squad is firing on all cylinders as of late. After cruising past St. Peter's and Ryder this past weekend, this team has begun its campaign 3-1 in the conference, winning 2 of those games in straight sets. Led by players like Jen Coffey, Elizabeth Kloos, Maria Pansari, and Kat Miller, the Bobcats look to make it back to the MAC championship game, where the team had its heart broken last season by Fairfield. Adding new faces like freshman Maggie Sherwin and Michelle Cuervo could help bolster the team later in the season. However, one thing is clear at this moment. The team has one mission now: win the MAC championship.
Very well done, Drew. Sometimes it's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. While Drew and I have gone back and forth for the last 30 minutes about minute details, it's important to think about the programs as a whole. Quinnipiac's fall teams have had so much recent success that no coach is on the hot seat, a rarity in Division I sports. Becca Main has not only brought her team into the Big East, but they are in a position to make the Big East tournament. Dave Clark's squad is constantly at the top of the MAC standings, and Chris Saplinski and Chad Davis have revitalized their respective programs. Quinnipiac might lose a small battle or two, but in the end, they've won the biggest battle of them all, finding steady leadership.
There were a ton of home games that took place at Quinnipiac this past weekend, but none of them could compare to the statement the women's rugby team made on Saturday against Penn State. After trailing 20-10 going into the second half, the team responded with 4 tries and 3 successful conversions, completely dominating Penn State, only giving up 1 try in the second half to pull off their comeback. The team people counted out because they thought they lost to Steph just proved to everybody that they're still a threat winning this type of game. Showed all the doubters that this team can still win the national championship for a 3rd straight year. As Becky Carson said, this team is still on top. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. We'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same place. For more information, check out all of our content at QBSN.com and Q30television.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at QBSN and at Q30 Sports. For Josh Silverman, Drew Feinberg, our production staff, and everyone behind the scenes, I'm Rainey Del Valle. Have a good night, everyone.